Hello and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 263. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only Too Fresh Crash. Crash, before you start.
Okay.
I know you're too fresh, but boy, with this haircut today, I'm looking clean, baby. Like,
It is clean.
It should be Too Fresh Fix, you know what I'm saying? You drinking lemon juice? What the hell's that?
No, it's just water.
No, bring that back to the camera real quick.
It's water.
That's some claddy ass water. That's some. Oh, the cup is cold. Yeah, I can see your finger mark now. That looked like lemon juice.
It was not lemon juice.
Do you like lemon juice? I was gonna say
yeah.
I like lemon juice. I'm just saying.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. When you come over to England, we get some nice cool lemon. Wait, what do you guys call lemon juice? Do you call it lemon juice as well? Or do you call it like lemonade? Yeah, but it's not actual lemonade because lemonade's fizzy, right?
No, over here lemonade's not fizzy.
So what's lemonade fizzy over there? Like, do you have Sprite and 7-Up? You must have.
We have
Sprite.
Sprite
You got
and
Sprite.
7-Up.
You got Sprite and 7-Up. Again, look, I'm not gonna lie to you. So, what do you classify that as?
That's just sodas. I don't really know if there's like a special name or category for those.
So wait,
there might be, but I've just never that's always just like Sprite or.
That's just it's the name of the brand. Okay.
Yeah.
See, if you were to come over here and ask for a lemonade, you would get a Sprite or a 7-Up.
Oh, got it. Okay. To be fair, there probably is a name for that over here. I just have no clue what it is. It might just be lemon soda or something like that.
Lemon soda makes sense. I couldn't think of it in my brain.
Yeah.
It won't compute in what I needed to get to there, but that makes sense. If you don't know, My Xbox and Me is our weekly Xbox podcast here on youtube.com/MyXboxandMe, and of course podcast services. You've got Spotify, you've got Apple, you've got Google, you've got Amazon. Chris, did you see the video? Did you see the video that Robbie Rob put out?
No, I didn't.
He put out a video of him talking to his I think it was his Google Home, like saying the stuff. Because I'm not gonna lie, I did see some things last week like, why is it playing this song called Dreams into Skeeves? I'm like, hey, that was me, I want that song. Yeah, I did it. But yeah, so shout out to everyone that was playing around with their devices at home, mucking around with us, playing along. Thank you very much, I do appreciate it. Don't forget, you can get this show early over on patreon.com/mcfixer. If you want the show early and you want to support it financially, obviously that's a big thing for us right now. Myself obviously trying to get financially supported on Patreon, and obviously the long-term goal is to be able to pay people like Crash and Don't Give a Bit, and we're looking to bring in an editor specifically for My Xbox and Me. So money towards all of that goes towards all of that. So if you are someone with the means, things are okay for you during these dark times, please do consider trying to support over on patreon.com/mcfixer. We're not ad funded yet, we're not anything like that. That is strictly the only place that the money comes in, so please do consider it if you can. Crash.
Fix.
I feel like I've not spoken to you for so long.
No, we haven't spoken in a while.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like
because I haven't even been in your streams.
Well, you lurk for me, which I see and I appreciate. But yeah, like, we just seem like two ships. I say a long time. It was last week we did a podcast, but even during
that is like a long week. We usually speak in between that. It might not be like long conversations or anything like that, but we usually
not anymore. Not since we both got more professional. You dealing with hair stuff and me actually doing work. It's almost like, wow,
that's true.
We spent less time talking to each other and things started to actually be better for our lives. Weird.
Yeah.
We are currently sitting at 65 reviews on iTunes. That is in the UK. I need someone to tell me in their country. So if you're not from the UK, so maybe you're from America, maybe you're from Canada, maybe you're from Japan. We've got people from Japan that listen to this show. Very weird. Tell me how many reviews we got on your iTunes or Google store or whatever. Let me know. Shout out to our Patreon producer, being Erengard. Big shout out to Erengard, keeping this show on the roads, keeping us going each and every week. Erengard, without your support, my friend, this show doesn't happen. So thank you. Really do appreciate it. Chris, let's jump into the topic of the show this week. Topic of the show: the Xbox Series X first NDA previews are up. We didn't get a console, obviously, unless you got one I don't know about.
I forgot to tell you, Xbox sent me over a console.
Yeah,
My bad.
it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, we didn't get a console, unfortunately, so we have to go off the great people over on IGN and off of Digital Foundry. I've been consuming so much bloody content on all this stuff to try and give the best perspective I can on all of this. And we got a few questions coming in from our friend Canada on this topic. So let's jump into it, Gresh. So, are you doing time codes? I don't even need to remind you, do I? I don't even need to remind you. I'll shut the hell up.
Don't worry about it.
Xbox Series X backwards compatibility. Most Xbox One X games run at 60 FPS. In this title it says 4K, but we'll get to that in a second. The first slate of Xbox Series X previews have hit the wild, meaning reviewers are able to put up their test performance capabilities of Microsoft's next-gen console. The people at Digital Foundry put this console through the ringers, Crash, and most of its results on old generation games meant they saw a nearly 100% increase in frame rate. So games such as Dead or Alive, Monster Hunter, they had Sekiro, they showed Gears of War Ultimate Edition. All of those games' frame rates went from, I'm not saying for every single title specifically, but went from something of like 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second with ease on the new console. Yeah. Like I say, if you want like the deep down nerdy stuff, you go check out Digital Foundry because they have got the full specs of this thing. So I was watching this and I was really, it was interesting for me. I'll be honest with you, as you very well know, before the Bethesda news, before everything else, I was very much someone of the mind of, why are we buying these consoles? What do they do that my X doesn't do? That was the big one for me. What does it do that my Xbox One X doesn't do? If you had an OG console, I understood. It made perfect sense for me. But an X, it's a powerful machine, right? Right now, to most of us, it's the most powerful console on the market right now. Before this Series X comes out, obviously. But seeing these tests, I was very, 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 very surprised. Very surprised by just the ease of how powerful this console is and how it allows games that maybe I won't necessarily care about. Am I going back to Hitman? Am I going to go back to Monster Hunter? Am I going to go back to Sekiro? Probably not. But with Xbox doing this whole there are no generations and backwards compatibility, something that their competition doesn't do, it sort of opened my mind up a little bit more after watching this. Did you watch any of the videos at all?
I have not.
Okay.
No. I read up on some of it, but I didn't watch anything.
So, my question really to you is, are you excited to play some of the old generation of games that you may have missed out on and see a huge improvement in its frame rate? Is that something that gets you excited?
No, not really. I don't go back and play old games too often. Like, for me, it's like, oh, maybe if I ever want to replay Witcher, like, sure, I'll get more frames out of that, and that'd be cool. But that's not something that sort of like excites me for a new gen. It's never really something that's been like this whole backwards compatibility argument for whenever it started. And it's been going on for generations now. It's not even this generation where it started. It was never something that super appealed to me, super heavy.
Yeah.
But I understand that a lot of people really do care about it. And seeing all this stuff is really dope. It's really cool to see. And a lot of this is unoptimized, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I was literally just about to say to you, this is strictly just
off
of power alone. This is all of this is unoptimized. Unoptimized frame rate improvements.
Most of these were done. Most of, if not all of these, were done with the SSD in the Xbox, right?
Yes.
So I wonder if you see a difference in performance with an external.
I'm sure Digital Foundry will have our back on that one soon.
More than likely, they'll let us know.
I'm pretty sure that's what they teased. Actually, they actually teased at the end of their video. Running it was still going to be run off of SSD, but a USB SSD. You know, like the
Yeah.
What are they called? Solid state drives. Not. And that's what it stands for. What I meant is not the NVMe.
Not the one that's in the console.
Those chips. The other ones. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you're well informed. If you're not, you just think I'm a crazy person. I understand.
Why is he saying all those letters?
It's not the alphabet, is it? A, B, C. My bad. Obviously, even games like Sekiro, which I mentioned before, which were notoriously known for running at a poorer frame rate, this console does it relatively with ease, up to 60. Watching the video side by side with all these other different games, I was like, wow, it is a noticeable difference. I didn't realise, as much as I said I didn't realise, I did realise. You don't realise it until it's side by side. Until you don't have it, and that's something I've learned with my new monitor, until you don't have it, you don't know. You don't know what you're missing out on.
It's why so many people don't care about 4K. It's why so many people don't care about frame rates. It's all these things is because they are used to their 30 frames per second. It's normal for them. Like, I don't care about 4K because I don't regularly play on a 4K TV or a monitor. I'm sure once I get a 4K TV somewhere and I'm playing on that, and then I go to my monitor and it's not 4K, I'm like, this is kind of ugly.
Yeah.
But it's not something I really have to worry about right now, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. Let's take our first question from Canada on this topic, which says, which games are you excited to play on the Xbox Series X with backwards compatibility, knowing that most games will be at a solid 60 FPS? Again, I don't honestly think I'm excited for any of them, just because, again, the industry moves so fast, and the way content creation works, as you will know, Canada, which is old games old. We don't very rarely do I get time to go back into that deep catalogue of games that I've missed out on, which is unfortunate, but that's just the facts at the end of the day. I don't have time to do it. People want to watch the new thing. I don't have time to go back and play Crash Bandicoot, even the old trilogy, now that Crash Bandicoot 4 comes out tomorrow. It's just not how it works. So that's a shame, but honestly, that's just the way. That's just the way it is. So for me, I'm not excited for any of them. I would love to see games like Metal Gear Solid run at a higher frame rate. Not that I think the frame rate's necessarily bad, just so it looks better. Cool. I'm talking about Metal Gear Solid 2, obviously. Other than that, like, there's nothing that sticks out. Games that I regularly go to would be the one for me. The thing that really, and I won't mention it because we're going to talk about it in the next question, but there's things that open my mind up even more so of beyond just the 60 FPS. So let me jump into the next question, which is, do you think we will see older games hit triple-digit frame rates, older being Xbox One games, seeing that the hardware is more than capable? This is what gets me really excited, Crash. As you know, I love Resident Evil 2. As you know, because I've told you, because I'm a huge nerd, speedrunners, you need to run that game at 120 frames per second to do more damage to get a quicker speedrun.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, if the Xbox Series X can do 120 frames for Resident Evil 2 Remake, now that gets me excited. But that's a game that I play regularly. Like that's my FIFA compared to some people. I get on, I do a quick speed run, and then I disappear again. So yeah, the older games, do I think it will happen? I think it comes down to the Xbox compatible team. It comes down to them. They've done some magic with some of these games already. We've seen it firsthand without even needing to get into the developer tools and stuff like that. They have been able to optimize games beyond our wildest dreams. You wouldn't even realize it sometimes. Some of the games that look ridiculously better. Obviously, Digital Foundry showed like Gears Ultimate, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, why not? I'd love to play through. Gears is a series that I absolutely love. It's a series that I adore. Like, I could totally see myself going back through the Gears series, all of them, if they were like, oh, now it's 120 frames. Not that like that would change the game that much, but just to see it and to experience it in a better way. Yeah. Why the hell not? Why wouldn't I?
I absolutely agree.
You got any games?
I don't think there's anything I'm looking like. When I hear this, my mind automatically goes to like Avengers that had frame rate issues, and I'm like, that'll be better.
But we're going to get the next gen version
out,
of that, though, is the difference.
That's very true. This
is very specific to old games. So, like, imagine.
I mean,
go on.
A Rainbow would be cool. I think Overwatch on console would be cool.
We're going to get next gen versions of those games, I feel like,
That's very true. Probably.
Like, I feel like that there's this weird cut-off period for games where it's going to be the games that people are no longer talking about, they're not optimized, they're not playable. Like, it's that sort of thing that I feel like is going to be the big difference in seeing these frame rates. GTA 4, GTA 5 more likely, but again we'll get a next gen version of that.
I don't know. This is hard for me. I'm sure there are people who are super excited about this. Like, but this is just an old game's old, and I've been so accustomed to like seeing games in 30 frames per second on console that like the idea of going back to my catalog where I thought that was sort of like a downgrade doesn't really happen to me because I never processed it as that. It was the game. So I don't know. I'm sure there's something that at some point I'll go back and I'll see in 60 frames per second. I'm like, it looks so much smoother than I remember because it is, you know? Yeah.
No, I totally agree. Canada adds also, Microsoft did say that developers have the option, and Ori is confirmed to target 120 FPS, which we already know, so thank you for that information. Crash, one more question from Canada. How will you orientate your Series X? Did I say that word right? Because I'm not going to lie. I practiced that word. I did practice that word.
Orientate.
Yeah, I said it right. Cool. Yeah. Your Series X. I feel like it's a bit awkward to put my Blu-rays in the side, but the console just looks weird on the side from Canada. How are you going to have yours? Standing up, laying down? Where are you at with it?
Standing. Well, I don't have a Series X, so it doesn't matter, but standing.
You got one pre-ordered though, right?
I got one. It's my brother's.
Oh, your brother got a pre-order again?
Yeah, I told you. I pre-ordered my brother's the Series X. I pre-ordered myself the Series S. Yeah, I didn't pre-order the Series X.
Sorry, I thought my bad. Not that it matters. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but I'm like, So okay, cool. Yeah, no, mine's gonna. Yeah, I'm standing. I'm so happy. I look around my desk now and I'm like, I can't wait to get rid of you pieces of crap. I really cannot. Like, the Project Scorpio edition is going back in its box, and one day will be behind me on a fantastic shelf, knowing that the community bought me this fantastic gift. This other Xbox One X that's on my desk, which is my fiance's, cannot wait to get rid of it. Cannot wait.
In the trash, right? In the trash.
Yeah, I'm going to box that one up and sell it, but that's not the point, alright? And then this PS4 this year, same thing. I'm looking forward to these standing consoles. I am. I'm looking forward to it. I ain't landing down. No way. No way.
I just want to say that, like, if you stand it up on your desk, it saves you so much room compared to, like, the older consoles that are just, like, these big flat hunks that just, like, lay down there and take up space. Even the Series S is tiny, and it's like, I'm just ready for that because my consoles here already... I have to have them stacked. My PS4 and my Xbox are stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, so am I.
On my desk.
So am I.
And I'm like, it just, every time I look at that corner, I'm like, oh, I wish you weren't there. And I look away.
I've got the PS4 on the bottom. I've got my Scorpio edition there. And then I've got a monitor on top of that. You know how unhealthy it is for all of that stuff? But who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares? You only live once, YOLO. You know what I mean?
True.
And these consoles only live for like 7 years, so YOLO. And then they get thrown away. So bad the way we are with like electronicals. Like, this thing that works perfectly well. See you later.
I'm gonna be honest. We're better than people who buy the new phones every year.
Good point.
So I'm gonna give us a pat on the back for that. You know.
Let's jump into Fix's Sat Crash. This is where fans drop an email. Fans, supporters, listeners. Drop an email. You can email in or write to us on Twitter, but email in at myxboxandmepodcast@gmail.com. Or you can tweet at me at MCFixer, Crash at CrashNickPlays. And also, obviously, we got the Discord channel, my Discord channel, that you can all are welcome to join. And yeah, I would love to hear from you. So keep it up and keep the messages coming in. First one here says, let's say last year rumors of Xbox buying Sega are true, and the rumor last month that they were buying WB Games. Could you see a scenario where Microsoft ruin gaming and cripple PS by buying too much? Kind of like how most sport is ruined by billionaires. From Little Smee. No.
No.
Because I can see where you're coming from. It's the same conversation we have about Disney buying everything, the monopolizing things. I think there was a big thing with Disney because they were worried about how like we're not going to see mature films anymore, things of that nature with like IPs that we care about at least. With gaming, I feel like it's a little bit different because there is such a broad spectrum of games. And number one for me, Xbox are not going to cripple PlayStation as long as PlayStation have fantastic first parties, which they do. With Naughty Dog, Santa Monica, the list goes on.
The only way Microsoft cripples PlayStation is if Microsoft buys PlayStation.
Yeah, just because the quality of game of which they produce is just far too high to really cripple PlayStation.
People will always have a reason to get a PlayStation.
It's actually like Nintendo. Degree. It's exactly the same as Nintendo. I think what Xbox, if they had done that, again, I generally think it will come down to, we still don't know. The arguments are still happening out there on like what's going to happen with Bethesda games. Phil has come out and made a few statements here and there. Nothing that's like, it's been more clipped up statements that I just don't see the point of even reporting on into it for the extent of like, he wants to make Xbox the best place to play games. I think, again, the wording's very specific. For me, it's a case of Xbox is the best place to play games because you can get Game Pass. And I feel like that's one of the driving forces between paying $70 for a game and playing £15 for a month of Game Pass or whatever it costs wherever you're at. There's a big difference, in my opinion. So, no, I don't think so. Even with Sega, I don't think so. Even with WB, I don't think so. Because again,
I think they'd have to buy a lot of studios. WB also wasn't like, WB would have been a big get, but the only IP they would have gotten off of WB is one.
It was Mortal Kombat. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they would have been in a deal for Batman's and all that stuff. But like, that's like, okay, you get a 5-year deal. It takes about 5 years to make a game.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to make a game. So like, who knows if that deal would be renewed after that, right?
Yeah. No, 100%.
Sega would be a big one but you also have to remember, Sega also publishes a lot of games.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, what happens to those games that they publish after that? Oh, well, they might go to Bandai, they might go who knows where else, where it's like, we're still going to basically do the same thing as always. So I don't know. I think in a scenario where Microsoft were to cripple Sony, they'd have to buy so many studios, and it wouldn't just be those two. I don't think Microsoft would ever go to the lengths that they would need to cripple so many studios, because Microsoft's focus isn't only in gaming.
No.
So it just wouldn't, I don't think it would be beneficial to them to like go to those lengths.
We were talking about actually in the Kind of Funny Zoom call about how it was actually a Private Jeebus, Trevor brought it up, how Game Pass for $1 isn't to get you in really, it's more to get your data. And he made some really good points. He works in like PR and stuff. And I was like, I never really thought about it like that. It's like, yeah, Microsoft now have a lot of data on us in terms of like how spending, it's that whole thing with like the same with Amazon, right? And Google, and that's why they were saying they're in competition for that. Once they know your spending patterns and the games you're actually interested in, they can target that data and sell that data to people, which, oh, this person is clearly a JRPG fan. They played Final Fantasy, they played Descara, they played whatever other games are in Game Pass. It's having that data to go, oh, this guy's into shooters. We're going to push this ad on him. It's a lot of data that they have now, which is really interesting to me as well. I'm not one of these people that's worried about it or like skeptical of it, that. I think, unfortunately, that line has been gone for a long time, in my opinion. But it is an interesting play on Microsoft's behalf. But yeah, I just don't think no. No, to answer your question, no. I don't think they would have crippled PlayStation at all.
Nope.
But there you go. Next question. With Final Fantasy 7 and 16 being PlayStation exclusive for a year, do you think there's a chance that Xbox releases goes to Game Pass day one? As to buying Japanese studios, I could see it happening by someone smaller like Koei Tecmo, so it doesn't work for whatever they didn't kill, say, Capcom. That's literally what this email says. I'm sorry. Koei also do JNROGs. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either.
Stead, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to take the first part of your question. I don't know what you're talking about. With Final Fantasy, do I think it? No, I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think Xbox would want to pay the amount of money it would cost to get a game like Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy 16 in Game Pass day one. Like, I get what you're saying in terms of like they won't be able to buy a Square Enix, but they could buy a Koei Tecmo, I guess. I get it. I just don't think I don't think the money would add up right for me.
Yeah. They like if they were to go for a Japanese company, it seems like they'd want to go for a company that they know they could hit a market in. And even if Microsoft buys a Japanese company, I don't know if they're confident they'd be able to hit the market the way they need to. Granted, I don't know if we actually have a story here.
We've got a question coming up, so just hold it. Yeah.
Well, I'll hold it. Yeah. So I don't really know on that regard. On the first part, no, I don't think they come day one to Game Pass. I think they come soonish after they release to Game Pass. I just don't think it's day one.
When you say soonish, where are you at with that? I'm still like a year or two. I
could see it happening like 6 months to a year.
Actually, how long was Final Fantasy 15? Actually, that's a good point. I wonder how long Final Fantasy 15
and Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts,
like those were
old
Kingdom Hearts was relatively
not Kingdom Hearts
quick.
3.
Kingdom Hearts 3 was relatively quick after as well.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is not in Game Pass, is it?
I could have sworn it was.
No,
let me look, because I could have been mistaking the release of all the other ones for that.
I know the other ones, or maybe I've got the other one. Maybe I've got it the wrong way around. Maybe Kingdom Hearts 3 is, and the other ones are not.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 available now with Game Pass. No, I think the other ones are as well. I think the other ones got added after Kingdom Hearts 3.
Huh. Maybe you're right then. Maybe I should go, but maybe it won't be a couple of years.
Yeah, no, I think it's 6 months to a year would be the time frame, at least for one of them. But maybe not, again, because we don't know how these games will sell on the platform. And if they sell
Final Fantasy 7 is going to sell gangbusters.
Yeah, maybe Square Enix is like, we don't need to put that on Game Pass.
Bro, do you know how excited I am to play Final Fantasy 7 again?
Oh, I'm 100% down
on Xbox.
Like,
do you understand how excited I am to play it again? Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Not day one for me. Yeah. Not day one. Not for me. Next question, and that one was from Stead. Thank you very much for your question, Stead. Next question. Xbox Series X sold out in Japan, the land of the rising sun and the land where Xbox sells in single digits some months. Do you think Xbox commitment to the Japanese market will help them out long term? Their short-term plan with games such as Yakuza and Dragon Quest seems to have sparked the Japanese market's interest. What can they do to keep this up? From Sarah Squid 69. Now say what he's gonna say, Chris.
I was just gonna say that like it selling out is a sign that they're probably doing really well over there. But
I don't know about really well. I don't know
about
really well.
Not really well. Really well was an overstatement. They're doing well. They're doing well enough that they met. Either they expected to hit that number and that's whatever units they sent over there, or they overhit that number and they wanted to leave extra.
Ding,
ding,
ding.
We got higher than we thought we would.
You hit the nail on the head there. Or the quantity of consoles they sent out there was so limited that they were always going to sell out to start that artificial conversation of, oh my god, the Xbox sold that in Japan.
Yeah.
It could be a number of things.
There's a lot there. I was gonna say there is a lot to talk about with that because we don't know what they plan to do over there, and that's a really important part because we see Nintendo do this all the time, where Nintendo under releases stuff, and Nintendo will put stuff at a limited time that has no reason being a limited time, only because it gets more people to buy it immediately, and they'll re-release it later, or they'll be like, it's gonna be available forever now, or whatever they do, and they get people to buy it.
Why did I buy Mario?
For no reason.
I have no reason to own this bloody game. I literally took it out its cellophane for no reason.
Yeah.
Just to say I have it.
Yeah.
Do you think I care about any of these Mario games?
You're a huge fan.
I've never beat a Mario game in my life. Why did I buy this game?
You like saving that princess.
I love it.
I
love saving the princess. Love saving the princess. Yeah, it's a very multi-layered question. So,
yeah,
We'll start with the pre-orders, like we were just saying. All jokes aside, fantastic. It's fantastic results to see them doing well in Japan. Taking TGS into regard, again, I watched TGS. We did a watch along for it. Not because we was expecting anything, but I wanted to see how Xbox would maneuver selling a console to Japan. Were they going to be the arrogant American about things, which is we're American, we have the best console on the market. Here it is. No. In my opinion, everything they did was very, very respectful, very well thought out. They definitely utilized their third-party third-party partners very well to be like, hey, we're working with you guys. This is your market. What do we do? How do we speak to this market? I felt like people were a little bit down on the TGS. I was like, this wasn't for us.
I think people always forget that TGS is their E3.
Yeah.
And like there's people in Japan who don't watch E3.
Why?
There's a lot of people outside of what?
They don't care about E3. It doesn't cater to them.
It's not in their language. It's not like if you watched it, like half of it's not in English. It's not meant for us.
Yeah.
It is not. The only stuff that was in English was Phil Spencer, and that had all subtitles.
I actually
just
think
like
that
when
it was too much English. If I'm honest, Phil spoke for too long.
Yeah, just like when they have Japanese creators at E3 and they're speaking in Japanese, it has subtitles. It is the same exact type of concept.
Yep.
That wasn't for our market. That wasn't for us. All the people who stayed up super late, like they said what they were doing. They literally said there's no surprises. Don't expect anything. And then people do what they do, and they're like, I saw the blue controller. I saw Sonic tweet with the green drinks. There's something happening.
Yeah. For me, I felt they did a really good job. A really good job. What do they need to do to keep this up? They need. I know Tango Works is theirs technically, but they need a JRPG studio that can make a big hit JRPG. Is what they need. That's what they need, and they need to keep utilizing their third-party partners, or they need to go and get a big timed exclusive. I know we're not getting Final Fantasy 16 now, obviously, but that sort of level of game. I know they've got Phantasy Star, and a lot of people bring that up. I know they've got Crossfire. People bring that up, which I believe is big in Japan. I might be mistaken for that.
I think
it might be China. I apologize.
Yeah,
that's
pretty sure it's China.
That's just my mistake. I'm not knowing the information, so I do apologize for that. So yeah, they need a big third party, not even third party. They need a big exclusive, whether that's timed exclusive third party or in-house made.
I don't even know if it necessarily has to be an exclusive.
No,
the problem comes that so my whole point is like if you're looking for them to be a more consistent like competitor in Japan, because I don't think they're going from consistent to being like in the hot seat, like, oh, they're gonna be neck and neck. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think they need to get like a good foothold there.
Yeah.
I think they just need to get more Japanese games. The next Persona game should come out on Xbox. It should be there on that platform.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of JRPGs and like non-American games that should be coming out. Genshin Impact just came out. It's on PC, mobile, and PS4. Why is that not on Xbox?
It's got to be a reason for it.
That's made by China, by the way. It's not made by Japanese, but it's the same concept.
I understand what you're saying. The markets, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, why isn't that there? I'm sure there might be a reason, but it's coming out to Switch, and I think that got delayed only because they had development issues with it. So I don't know if there's some sort of like Sony had to deal with them, like, hey, you can't release on Xbox, or it's just something that flew under Microsoft's radar.
It might even just be, again, that's what I was about to say. It might just be if the ones on the radar, they didn't realize this game was even going to have an impact in the market, and it might be very similar to and it sounds stupid, but like Football Manager just come out. We'll talk about that later. But they come out and said the only reason it's not coming to PlayStation is they didn't give us a dev kit. They didn't give them a dev kit. That was literally it. It could just be that, where it's like
we don't think there's a marketplace for this on the platform or whatever. Or
exactly.
No, that's 100% possible. I just think that Microsoft needs to do more of an effort to like look at these studios that aren't homegrown, that aren't stuff they normally deal with, and be like, is that a game? Like the Wukong game we had talked about, like that should be releasing on Xbox. I don't know if that's confirmed to be coming out on. Is it? I can't remember what consoles that's confirmed for, if they even confirmed consoles.
I think it was running on Xbox when they showed it, wasn't it? No, it must have been PC.
I have no clue. I really don't remember. I only watched the gameplay. I know IGN had an interview with them. I didn't have the opportunity to read it, but I like that is a game that should come out over here, right? They should be looking to companies and developers that they normally don't deal with, and be looking at what's working and what's looking good and being like, hey, do you want to be on our platform? Not necessarily even for exclusives, because they have to be in the same sort of marketplace with Sony with games that somebody can't look at, like love Persona or love the JRPGs and be like, well, if I'm a JRPG fan, there's no way I'm going to get an Xbox. Or there's no way it's going to be my first console because they don't have enough of the games I like. That should just sort of be...
You know about Black Myth Wukong, right?
Yeah.
It is coming. It's confirmed to be coming.
It's coming to Xbox?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect then. Yeah.
But yeah, you they need to just, you're right, you are right. It's stop missing out on these games. It's the same thing of like what we say with like Nintendo, right? We're like, you're never going to be the first console if you don't have the games that I actually want. It doesn't matter how good your first party exclusives are at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So there is that. Alright, let's jump into what's been in our box, Crash. What have you been playing this week, dude?
I played a game called For the King. Have you ever played For the King, Fix?
No.
It came out in 2017, so it's kind of an old game.
Okay.
It's a Dungeons and Dragons game where they have procedurally generated campaigns for you to run on. There's like the base theme for every campaign you run on, but everything that you do throughout is randomized. 3-player co-op. It has online co-op. It's actually really good. It's been on Game Pass for I think like a year now. I only just got to it.
What made you play this? I'm looking at it now. Like, what it looks very interesting. But what possessed you to want to play this now?
I had a friend recommend it to me.
A friend who?
Don't worry about it. It wasn't Ben, so don't worry about it.
Fucking what's his name? I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head. Let me think. I'm gonna think.
I had a friend recommend it to me, and then I started a campaign with Ben and another friend the other day. That's 2 different friends in this equation. Fix.
One of them was War Dog.
No.
One of them wasn't War Dog.
No, none of them were War Dog.
The other one was that the dude that streams. I can't think of his name.
No.
What? You've got other friends? This is some bullshit. I don't like this, Crash. I am your only friend.
Yeah.
And even that right now, we're not really friends.
Acquaintance.
Business
You're my only acquaintance.
Acquaintance, I respect it.
But I didn't realize how much consoles and just video games online in general needed this, because D&D is normally like a very much so a tabletop experience.
Yeah.
And for me, I always thought that like the 4-player and 1 dungeon master sort of game that was like happening for a while, that they all almost seemingly got canceled except for the ones where they have you playing as a killer or whatever. That we might have needed on console, but I actually like really love this. I think it would be cool to have like a Fable done in this style. I think that would be cool. I think there's a lot of different stuff that I would love to see more games in this vein. And then other than that, I played Among Us. We both played Among Us. Did you know that it's coming to console?
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's coming to console. The developer has said that there's delays on it coming to console because they can't figure out how to do voice communication on console.
Oh, okay.
So there's that.
I mean, I just wouldn't do it, and then just tell people to use Discord.
Yeah, I don't think you have a way to converse in mobile, so I don't think that's like really the best excuse. I don't think you need to do anything special for it.
Yeah.
But I understand it's a small team. I'm sure they weren't expecting all this, so they're like, what are we gonna do? And they're probably all like going all over the place with that. But yeah, that's about it.
Fair enough. Obviously, the usual culprits when it comes to me: PGA Tour, loving it. NBA, loving it. Again, not full extent reviews. FIFA comes out this week, Crash. So expect a lot more FIFA talk on this podcast. Not really, but I'll just do the usual what I always did. I played Call of Duty on PC yesterday night. One game. Ooh. I played one game on PC because I got a new keyboard, and I realized I hadn't played COD on PC on my new monitor off stream just to see how it runs. Bro, I was beaming. I got like 10 kills in a solo.
I just want to remind you, that Call of Duty has skill-based
I
matchmaking.
knew you was gonna bring me down. I knew you were gonna bring me down.
Fix.
What is wrong with you? Oh, also, it's a new season, so
Okay,
everyone's gonna be new. Why
are you bringing
always
yourself
bring
down?
me down?
That's my job. Stop taking my job.
What is
Fix,
wrong with you?
This is our dance. This is what we do.
I don't want to dance with you. You have
You
other
say
friends.
something good, I tear you down. I say something good, you tear me down. This is just what happens. You should have been used to this by this, but you should have known when you were like, I'm gonna talk about Call of Duty. You're like, you should have known that I was gonna tear you down for it.
You're right.
Should have known.
You're right. But I also played a little game called Mafia Definitive Edition.
Ooh, yes.
This game was given to me by 2K, so thank you to 2K. I got something like this whole big package, which you may have seen on my Instagram or my Facebook or my Twitter. There's also a video on my YouTube channel if you want to go check it out of this package. This package is this has nothing to do with the game. Just very clear, I wasn't paid to speak about it. I wasn't asked to speak about it. It was just a fantastic, nice thing that come to my house from 2K. It had all this great stuff, and go check it out if you want to go and have a look at it. Probably the best press package I've ever received, ever. Go on.
So when I come to London,
yeah,
we're gonna drink lemon juice.
I was about the new glasses. You're right. That's exactly
Yes.
what it is. Yep, you're 100% right.
Whiskey, no. Lemon juice, yes.
I put it up, and someone put something about the glass, and I was like, yeah, I can't wait to drink my orange juice out of it, like, because I don't drink whiskey. But yeah, so I've been playing Mafia Definitive Edition. I finished the game, so I feel very happy to talk about it in its full extent. Mafia Definitive Edition is a fantastic game with some problems. It's story narrative driven game, which is it's not open world. It's open world, yes, but it's a narrative driven game, very, very, very linear. And oh my goodness, I forgot how much I love these type of games, where it's like, yes, you can drive wherever you want technically, but you're on a mission. And we are telling you a story. I just miss these type of games, Crash. It was a 12 to 15 hour experience of just pure joy and happiness for me. Honestly,
yeah.
It's been revoiced. It's all had its graphical updates.
Oh.
It is amazing in its look. I was shocked by how good looking the game is, and I'm not talking just on its like sheer like comparison to a 2001 game. I'm talking about like you walk down an alley and there's a puddle and the puddle reflects its light off of it, and it's those little things where I'm like, this is what I'm expecting from next gen, not this game. And I was really, really, really blown away by it. It sets its tone of its world amazingly. Like, everything about the game blew me away except for its gameplay.
I'm gonna be honest. I was watching you play a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, this game looks really good." You were in the middle of a cutscene. I was like, "This actually looks way better than I would have thought." And then you get to the gameplay. I'm like, "Oh, this is very much so." It's
a 2002 game, and it is very purposeful. The developers Hangar 13 knew what they were doing, which is this is a remake of Mafia. Mafia 1. It is a remake. We are not touching the soul of what this gameplay was, or its bad driving mechanics, its bad shooting mechanics, its movement, which is average. And I know what some people are probably thinking. Some people are probably thinking, you sound like you did not like this game. That couldn't be further from the truth. Honestly, even with all of its hiccups, in terms of not changing its gameplay, this game is phenomenal. It really, really is. And to walk around this world and feel something. Again, lately I play so many goddamn games, right? But to be dropped into the 1932 of this world, in the gangster world, in the mobsters, and have this story told to me, and the way they tell the story, which is different to the original, and everything and the way it all just comes together in its entirety of package. Honestly, I was shocked. Absolutely shocked in how good it was. I expected to just jump in Mafia, play an hour of it to be able to talk about on the podcast for a preview sort of thing, and be like, I'll get to it at some point. But from the moment I started playing, I went from I'm going to play an hour to playing 6 hours. then from 6 hours to playing another 5 hours, and then having another 2 hours on top of that. Like I say, roughly about 12 to 13 hours, I think I beat it in. And it just captivated me the whole time, dude. Like, the story is on another level. It really is.
That's actually really good to hear. So do you think it was for you? I know Resident Evil 2 is one of your favorite games of all time, but is it similar to that experience of going from like the original to the remake with this?
Not for me, just because I don't know the intricacies of the original. Like, the original was a game I played a couple of times. Like, again, I weren't beating games really in 2001. It would have been something I probably jumped in to run around the world, like a GTA type thing, where this obviously isn't that. So I don't have that level of love for that type of game. But what it did do is I've been saying to you before that I'm trying to find other genre of games of like and world and timepieces and stuff like that of like, what am I into other than like football, other than like sports games, other than Resident Evil survival horror? Like, what else am I into? And I realized playing this, I was like, oh my god, I forgot how much I love this time period, and I love the mob mentality, gangster mentality, screwing over people. Like, I know it probably sounds a little bit deep and twisted, but like cutting someone's head off and leaving it on their bed, like what mobsters used to do, like that type of, I remember that from like The Godfather. Like, I've realized how much I really like this time period, and I love these type of games, and the way their stories are, and the language they speak, and the way they speak, and you rats, and just all that sort of thing. And this game embodies all of it, which it should for a game named Mafia. But it does that and then puts a little bow on it really nicely in what it is as well. It has its sweet and innocent moments. It has its romantic. It has its serious moments. It has its heart-wrenching moments. It's just an overall really good story, which is well written. With, again, we talked about Tell Me Why, right? And like some of the best voice acting. This is right up there for characters being brought alive. In its and I won't just say voice acting because I'm sure mocap was involved. So in its actors portrayal of these characters, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I was really blown away by it. I wasn't expecting it as good as it is. It took me to go, wow, I really want to play Mafia 2, which Mafia 2 is my favorite Mafia, by the way. And I'm a little bit, I've been hearing that Mafia 2 hasn't been upgraded to this full extent. There is like, it's done like a little bit like 4K resolution and stuff like that, I believe. Maybe I might be wrong there, but it hasn't had that full works where I'm like, now I want this to get the full works. Now I want Godfather. The Godfather games are some of the most criminally underrated games in my opinion. They are so good from EA. I think EA still have the license for it, which is a shame. But I'd love for them to do a remake of that. Like, yeah, I really, really, really like this game. You can get the full trilogy for $44.99, being 1, 2, and 3, or you can get this, and that's pounds. And you can get just Mafia 1 at £33. If I was you, I'd get all of them for the $44.99. And just sit down and experience Mafia as a series, because it is so good in my opinion. Again, its gameplay is a little loose, isn't where I would have loved the shooting mechanics, but it can all be overseen by some of its beauty in this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that sounds about right for a game that is story-driven, right?
Yeah.
Where the gameplay does, to a degree, take a second seat. Not to say the gameplay is like horrible and unplayable. It shouldn't.
Yeah.
But it happens, and as long as the world's still... It's a testament that the world's still worth exploring.
Yeah,
right,
the problem that the game has is some of its animations are a little bit wonky sometimes. Some of its AI isn't the smartest sometimes. It still has that 2001... It does. That 2001 feel in some of its elements. But everything else is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Yeah. Does it make my top 10 this year? Who knows? Who knows?
Interesting. We should do the year's almost over.
It's so late. I was going to say, there's no point.
The year's almost over.
We might as well just wait for Game of the Year talk. Yeah, we need to do that like 6 months in. Like, where are we at? We might have done. I don't remember. But yeah.
I think we kept pushing it.
Sounds
if I
about right.
recall correctly.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right. All right, let's move on to this week's dashboard. We've got a bunch of news coming out of the Xbox camp as per usual. EA Play to arrive on Xbox consoles for Xbox One Game Pass Ultimate members this November. Microsoft has announced that EA Play will be arriving on Xbox consoles, and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members can get this November 10th. I wonder why they chose that day, 2020, the same day as the launch of the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. As revealed by the Xbox Wire, members with the Ultimate or Game Pass for PC subscriptions will be able to download and play EA Play games this December as well. But no specific date was given on that. Crash.
Yeah.
Exciting times.
Excited. This is still one of the ones that like I kind of believe the least.
What, EA Play?
That EA Play is on Game Pass. Yeah, because for a very long time it seems so contradictory for them to add it.
Remember, this isn't EA Origins, so it is a lot of old games
absolutely.
with a bunch of trials.
It's a trial into the bigger system. Do you think that this means possibly that EA is looking to bring EA Access onto consoles?
No, you mean Origin, right?
Origin. They changed the name, right?
I actually think they changed the name to. I think they've changed the name to EA Play Premium now. I think is actually called. I think I could be told. Again, I've not been following it as much as I should, but I'm pretty sure it's. I think the normal one's called EA Play, and now the big one where you get the full games for $120 for the year, I believe on PC. On PC is EA Play Premium, I believe.
Okay,
I could be wrong though. I would love to see them. I'd love to see them bring it. I'd love to see Ubisoft bring their version over onto console. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Like, give everybody a chance to do this. Why not?
It also becomes like more. It makes gaming more affordable for people, which really gotta hand it to Microsoft for in general. $300 console Game Pass, which Game Pass they've been doing for a while. They are there for the people who can't necessarily afford the super expensive consoles, the $70 games, all this stuff. Microsoft is there. And I'd love to see more developers sort of like get into that space.
More publishers.
Some fashion. More publishers,
yeah.
Publishers.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the fact of you can open your Xbox Series X or Series S on the 10th and be able to play FIFA for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Madden for 10 hours. What else did EA Play? They've got Anthem. I know people are gonna laugh at me for that, but like there are some new experience in there that you could play for those trials. 10 hours is a lot of. Again, 10 hours don't sound like a lot of time, but 10 hours is a lot of time for people who only get to play an hour a day, 2 hours a day.
10 hours also like more time than some people need or play
to play game. FIFA. Some people just want to play a couple of games here and there.
10 hours is more than overkill for what I'd need. Half an hour and I'm done.
Are you joining our FIFA team this year? Our Pro Clubs team this year?
I don't have EA Play.
You got Game Pass. It's okay.
Game Pass ran out. Can't.
I'll pay for it. You work for me. It's fine. You do a lot of work here. I'll pay for it.
Xbox broke. Can't.
You just bought a new one. Don't worry about
it. I think you locked me into the corner here. I'm busy that weekend. What weekend is it? Doesn't matter. I'm busy.
Jesus Christ. Damn it. Well, remember, we did do a My Xbox and Me. It kind of isn't a My Xbox and Me. It's more an MC Fixer thing, really. Yeah. But we do FIFA Fridays, and we'll be bringing it back when the new FIFA drops. So if you want to join our Pro Clubs team, which Pro Clubs is where each person plays a specific position, and we try and make our way up the leagues. We did okay towards the end last time, but I just decided to stop it due to like the numbers were turning up. But we've got a big audience that have come in. A lot of UK best friends and a lot of people that are listening to the audience now. So if you want to be a part of that, it will be Friday nights over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/mcfixer. If people reach out and want us to do it on YouTube, we'll consider doing that as well. Like, I'm not opposed to moving it anywhere. So let me know. Next piece of news. Xbox officially Xbox have announced the Series X and Series S 1TB expansion storage drive. That will cost you $219. $299. Microsoft have revealed the price of its proprietary expandable storage cards for the Xbox Series X and S, and then we'll start at the price I just said. As spotted by The Verge, a listing for the 1TB game drive for Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series X appeared on the Best Buy website, confirming the price. So, Crash, this started a huge conversation on pricing for this device. Lots of people think it's absolutely ridiculous for expandable storage to cost literally just as much as a console. Microsoft have come out and said, obviously, the reason for this pricing, I'm not quoting, but it's about the Xbox Velocity architecture, providing faster load times and enriched environments and more immersive gameplay. That's what they've been saying. That's what the conversation has been. That is the only way to get the level of speeds that we want for next gen, is by having these very specific hard drive, expandable storage drives in our consoles. Major Nelson did come out to confirm this as well, which we already knew, but lots of people keep asking, so I want to say it one more time, which is you can continue to use your USB 3.1 external hard drive on the Xbox Series X and run Xbox One, 360 and OG Xbox games directly from a USB HDD. Games optimized for Series X and the Velocity architecture need to be run from an internal SSD or expandable storage drive. Just want to give the people the information again and again and again and again. I'm sure people listen to my Xbox and me are well informed, but there's a lot of people I'm seeing on Twitter like up in arms about it. The people don't quite understand how technology works.
Yeah. How do you feel about the price point?
I think the price point is pretty good considering.
Yeah, for me, the price point like solidified like how much they're underselling their console in terms of price, like how much they made it lower. I know this news came out and my brother hit me up and he's like, "It's $220. What are they doing? That's crazy." Da 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 da. This, that, and the third, and I could buy 1 terabyte for so much cheaper and all this stuff. And it's like, it's custom made. It is very expensive to make. Like, it's gonna be the price it is, at least for now. Maybe it gets cheaper in the future. Who knows? But
the thing for me is, damn, I had a point I wanted to say and I can't think of it now.
I apologize.
No, it's not your fault, man. You're talking. It's a podcast. It's what we do.
What
was I going to say? Oh, man. What was you saying? You were saying about your brother saying it's going to cost this much. Blah,
that
blah,
it's a
blah,
lot.
Man,
you could buy one for cheaper.
I can't think of it. I can't think of it. No, unfortunately not. It to me, it's not surprising. It's not surprising. The price. I just don't get people. I don't get people that if go and do your research, go and look at the prices of these drives, even for a PC. PC players knew exactly these were going to be expensive, and we knew. I'm just shocked.
Oh yeah, we've talked about this before.
Yeah. For me, the big thing is how quick can you move a game from an SSD? Sorry, not an SSD, a 3.1 drive HDD to an SSD. That's what is going to interest me. I've got two 4 terabyte hard drives, one in my fiance's in my Haley. I was about to say in my fiance's Xbox, and one in mine. I hate switching between games and stuff like that. That's something that frustrates me. Eventually, I will buy this, but buying the two consoles, I couldn't put down another $200 just on top of that. Like, no way.
I mean, I imagine anybody who bought the Series S, like to start off with, probably isn't going to buy the external storage right away.
You would have thought, right? You would have thought. Next news story comes out, which is actually a really interesting one. The Xbox Series X 1 terabyte SSD offers only, in my opinion, 802 gigabytes of usable storage space. The Xbox Series X has 802 gigabytes of usable storage space in its built-in 1 terabyte SSD, reserving almost 200 gigabytes for the operating system and essential system files. This was shown off on IGN's hands-on preview for the Xbox Series X. Crash, how you feeling about this? Because this is the difference between marketing a console the way they have. And again, if I'm gonna give PlayStation shit, I'm sure as hell gonna give Xbox shit, which is, yes, technically you are selling me a 1 terabyte hard drive, but that's a lot to take away from me.
I think, I wonder if part of the reason that it's 802 gigabytes is for the quick start and the pause resume.
100%. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand the reason. I understand the reasoning. I understand why I'm losing 200. But 200 gigabytes.
It's like a fifth. Well, technically a little more than a fifth, but still, it's like a fifth of the storage space. I'm just curious, like, the Series S is what, 500 gigs?
Yes.
I'm curious, like, I hope they're not telling me the Series S. Like, I technically have 300 gigs on the Series S. That would be
We don't have any information on that. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be horrible. Like, but still, that's kind of rough. And I understand why, as a business, they decided to like hold off until after pre-orders.
Oh yes.
But that's kind of rough.
I tell you what, I gave Sony a lot of shit for their hard drive being 800 and something. I wonder if it wasn't 800 and something. I wonder if it is a terabyte, but they've just marketed it correctly in terms of you're going to have 800 and something gigabytes to use.
This is how much storage you actually have. Because I'm going to be honest, I hate when you buy PCs, when you buy consoles, when you buy anything, and they're like, it's a gigabyte, and then you go directly to the memory, and it's already like, you only have 90% left, and it's like, I don't even have anything installed. Come on. Like, I think out of everything, Microsoft's been on an amazing run as of late with all the news and all the stuff that's come out. I think this is probably one of the...
It's not a big deal, and it's to be expected.
Absolutely.
Because the Xbox One X had exactly the same thing. It was 780 gigabytes in a 1 terabyte. It makes sense. I understand it. It's just frustrating. Especially when you know that could have been Call of Duty in there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You could technically, like, backwards compatible. You can play Call of Duty on your external.
I'm good. I want the bells and whistles, baby. I want the bells and whistles.
Got it.
Speaking of Call of Duty, Modern Warfare's new season has started. It will be starting, and we have more details on that. The new season will be coming relatively soon. I don't think we've actually got an exact date. It might even be out already. I've not checked. And it is the update 19.3. Sorry, the update on Xbox is 19.3 gigabytes, but for Xbox, for some reason, is 266 on Xbox One and 50 gig. I don't know. Oh, and it's 56 gigabytes on PC. The new changes, we've got a subway fast travel that's been added in Warzone. They've added a new metro to the Verdarsky, described as a dynamic fast travel system that allows players to jump between existing points of interest. A number of metro stations have been placed in the map, which squads can investigate to find items and catch trains to move across the map. Other than that, in Warzone, we have got an Armored Royal mode, which this is a new mode they've added. It's a game mode that gives outfits every team with a turret-toting armored cargo truck. If the truck is destroyed, the team cannot respawn. The last team standing wins, obviously, in that one. New weapon pickups. The supply crate weapon rotation has once again changed. This time around, players can see a combination of familiar armorities and some new blueprints. Again, if you want to know about these, you've got 10 uncommons, 13 rares, 18 epics, and 24 varieties to discover. You've got some licensed war tracks. The new licensed war track can pick up as a free tier in the battle pass, including Jack Harrow's What's Poppin' and Grinding by Clipsy. I hope I said that. Eclipse. No, Clipsy? Yeah, Clipsy. I think that's right. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who that is. I know the What's Poppin' track, obviously. Grace, you look so confused right now.
I'm very confused.
Why?
I'm just...
What part are you confused by? Let me help you.
I'm confused by absolutely nothing. I'm on track now. I was trying to catch up to where you were, because I was checking something. Earlier you said it was 200-something gigabytes, I think. It's 22.
Nah, I said...
gigabytes.
Yeah, no, it's 22. I think
Yeah, so
I
I was
mixed
just
up a bunch of stuff.
I was
Alright.
double check on that. I think you said 200. I might be wrong.
Who knows?
I might be wrong.
There's a bunch of other stuff, but no one really cares if we're being honest with you. If you do care, I apologize. But there's a bunch of new maps, which is you've got Station, Kazovsky, this is in multiplayer, Broadcast, Tank Factory, and the Verdeski Riverside. All of those are in the multiplayer mode. Some new modes that also come to multiplayer. Kill Streak confirmed, Gun Game, TDM. You've got Headquarters, Firefight mode, Hardpoint Kills and Kill mode, and Trials and Officers Challenge Ribbons, all coming to Call of Duty in Season 6. So, plenty of new content there for people that are enjoying Call of Duty, Crash.
Yeah.
You going back?
Absolutely. I don't have it installed anymore on anything. I probably will never install it again.
Never?
Well, so what's going to happen is I'm going to get the new Call of Duty Cold War, and when I install that, it's going to install Warzone, and then once I install that, Warzone's gone.
Got ya. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of news coming out of TGS about Resident Evil Village, Crash, which obviously is a game that I'm excited for. Resident Evil Village will focus more on exploration, more than Resident Evil 7. During Capcom's special Tokyo Game Show 2020 livestream presentation, members of the development team shared their perspective on two main characters of the upcoming horror game, Resident Evil Village: Ethan Walters, boo, and the
Eponymous. I think I've never seen that word before.
Eponymous Village itself, and saying the game will have more of a focus on exploration than Resident Evil 7. Crash, to be honest with you, I was so let down by what they showed of Resident Evil. They literally only added I think it was 4 new scenes, little tiny bits to Village. The new trailer looks really good. The new trailer that we see look really good. Again, it's not much added. It very, very much reminds me of Resident Evil 4. Very, very much reminds me of Resident Evil 4, which is a good thing.
I was going to say, are you sure it's a good thing?
Yes, because it gives me hope that Resident Evil 4 Remake will be good.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
But they've brought back a few things that matter to me, which again, I'm with the term exploration. It reminds me very much of Evil Within 2, which is something that I loved about that game, was the fact of going around a bit more. If Resident Evil Village is going to give me that, perfect. I really wish I understood if this was 8 or not, though. We still don't know if this is 8 or not.
Yeah, I was actually after whenever I last saw it, which I think would have been TGS. I think I watched it at TGS. I was so confused when I don't understand it, because before they were putting a really big emphasis on the 8 part of it, and now they're just sort of not doing it anymore. I'm like, did they go back to this being a spin-off and they're not continuing it a number title, but it has Ethan? I guess it's a different looking Chris, so maybe they have a different timeline now. I don't know what Capcom. It's
not a different timeline.
Your eyes when I said that.
It's not a different timeline.
I don't know what they're doing.
It's not a different timeline. It's just stuff in it. Resident Evil, man. Resident Evil.
I was gonna start some beef with you the other day, Fix. Yeah.
Okay, why?
Because you tweeted on Twitter, my Chris is back.
Yeah, he's back.
I saw that and I was like, oh man, is Chris really back? And then I went back, I loaded up my Resident Evil 5 and I looked at Chris and I was like, not Chris.
What do you mean? Well, why?
It looks like a different person.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
It looks more accurate than what they had in Resident Evil 7. It definitely doesn't look like Resident Evil 5, Chris.
It doesn't. No, he looks like Resident Evil 6, Chris.
I've never played Resident Evil 6, so that could be a fair statement.
You're so lucky. You're so lucky.
Because I didn't play a bad game, I know. I know.
You're so lucky. No, he looks like an older, more rugged, someone that's been through a few things. He's seen a few things, is Chris.
He's seen a few things.
He kills people. We don't know if he's good or bad. There's a lot going on, Crash. There's a lot going on.
I need your Resident Evil knowledge right now for me.
Okay, here we go.
Take a wild guess. Not a wild guess. I don't want a wild guess. I want you to give me deductive reasoning. You don't actually have to give me the reasonings, but I want you to think your hardest right now. Is Chris evil?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they realized that they've killed Wesker, right? Wesker's died, and then there's this whole thing, and there's a whole Resident Evil fandom. Like, do you remember Resident Evil? Do you remember Resident Evil Umbrella Corps that came out? It was this weird spin-off Resident Evil game that only came to PC, then ended up on PS4, which it was like you play the scenario of you in Umbrella. It was this weird. I have not even played it. I have it, but I've never played it. It just doesn't make sense. All right. So some data miners, you asked me to get nerdy, so I'm getting nerdy.
Yeah, nerdy.
So some data miners went through that game and found a line that DC Douglas, the voice of Wesker, recorded in that game. The other day, that game was confirmed to be canon. So now there's this big conspiracy theory, because there's this line of Wesker saying, I think it's along the lines of, everything isn't as you seem, or like, don't take what you see as like, something along those lines of like, hinting that Wesker's not dead. But that line never actually made it into the full game. But it was recorded. So now they're saying that technically Wesker could still be alive. So what I think this is it's going to be Chris... I don't think this at all, but I'm just going to say it because it sounds really cool.
Okay.
This game, we get Chris being bad.
Yeah.
He's on the dark side. I think he's going to kill Ethan at the end of it. And that's going to make me really happy. Because I don't like Ethan, as you know. Ethan sucks.
You know what I really hope? That
Punch
at
that
the end
mic,
of this...
Punch that mic.
I knocked it up on accident. I really hope that by the time we get to the end of this, we have the same thing that a lot of Assassin's Creed fans had at Assassin's Creed 3, where they hated Desmond, and then you play Assassin's Creed 3, and it's finally Desmond's hurrah moment, and he's great. And spoiler alert, by the way, I'm going to give a spoiler in about 5 seconds. And you get through the whole campaign, and he's being a badass, and it's all really cool, and then he dies.
Okay. Desmond dies? Wow. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Damn.
He dies. And then I kind of hope that happens to Ethan, so that you don't get to have the character, because you don't deserve him.
I don't deserve him.
You don't deserve him.
Well, that's what this whole game seems to be setting up as. Like, it's a Chris versus Ethan thing. But we're going to play... It looks like we're going to play mainly as Ethan, but there was just confirmed that there's going to be 3 playable characters. Yeah. And I was like, oh no, I don't want 3 playable characters. We did this with Resident Evil... We've done this with a couple of Resident Evils, but we've done this... It depends how it's done. If it's interwoven in the story, fine. But if they do it like 6, where it's like, this is one story, this is another story, oh look, there's another story, and then you play as Ada as well, and you're like, oh god, this whole game, this sucks.
I don't think it'll be that. What if it's because they haven't gone too much into it. What if it's something similar to like a Resident Evil 2, where there are 2 different like campaigns, and then between them you both like will jump to Chris during certain parts or whatever.
Well, technically there's 2 playable characters in Resident Evil 7. Forgot to mention I played Resident Evil 7 again. I forgot to mention that in what we've been playing. So I beat Resident Evil 7 in 4 hours, Gresh. That's a lie. 4 hours and 40 minutes without even trying to speedrun it.
That's about as long as you're stuck on the boss. That's last time, crazy. Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, I destroyed that boss in a matter of, like, so quick. So quick.
How does it stand up to the test of time?
So, interesting in this, I did this for you. I'm going to be honest with you. I did this for you. Okay. I did it for me because I needed time to play, but I did this for you as well. Played it on PC, full transparency, on Game Pass, just so we're full aware. I like Resident Evil 7 more than I thought. After beating it a second time round, I actually don't hate the Baker house as much as I thought I did. I hate the second half of that game more than I thought I did, though. The second half of that game, the moment that you are forced to play as Mia, the game sucks.
All right.
But the first half of that game, and I will no longer say that it's not a Resident Evil game. It's not a good... Because that's a fucking Resident Evil game. Other than it being... not third person. Yeah. It is. Playing it, I'm like, I get it. I have to get off of my Resident Evil soapbox and get over it. It is a Resident Evil game. It just had a few problems along the way. But it's still a solid game. I think if I was re-ranking them, it would rank a lot higher than I thought. Nah. Where beforehand, it might have been down there with Umbrella Corps. Who knows?
You know,
you proud of me?
I'm gonna be honest with you. There's 2 parts of me. One's very proud. You took the mature, the higher road. You replayed it. You like it. You admitted that you like it more than you thought you did.
Yeah.
But then the other part of me is like, I can't bother him about it no more. Part of me just like, I lost that. I lost a part of me.
I tell you what you can say though, Crash. We can talk all about Football Manager 2021, which are our last stories. Football Manager 2021 gets released November. This November 24th. Sorry, I couldn't see the date. For PC, Mac, and bump on Xbox One. This is the first time we're seeing the game come to console since 2007. Crash.
Okay, that's a long time.
Do you know what the crazy thing is?
What?
This is going to be the first year that I don't buy a Football Manager on Steam because it's got Play Anywhere. So now that it's coming to console,
I can buy it on Xbox.
I can buy, so this is my this. We're talking about like the two games I nerd out the most: Resident Evil and Football Manager.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna get it on the Windows Store, wherever it is. I gotta get it to get it on PC, right? I think I just need to buy it on Xbox and I'll get it on PC actually.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking I can play anywhere with it, obviously. So I'll go on PC as well. And then on top of that, I'm thinking when xCloud comes to Apple, I can play it on my phone in bed. I'm never gonna sleep again. It's a whole play. It's a whole play.
You said something there. You said to Apple.
Yeah.
Does this imply that you're not getting an Android phone?
Oh no, I've still got a year. They're gonna fix this before that.
Okay, so if they don't fix it by the year,
hashtag still F Apple. Apple, I'm leaving.
Got it.
I'm leaving until you fix this. I'm leaving. But you know the other thing that they're bringing out, Chris, they're bringing out remote play on the new Xbox app. I've seen Tom Warren talking about that. I'm like, do I really need xCloud if I got remote play? Like, I just want to play it in bed anyway. So maybe I don't have to leave Apple, right? I'm not forgiving them. Crash.
No.
Hey, Crash, I'm not forgiving them. I'm not.
You gotta keep the same energy, bro.
Oh.
You can't be like, Xbox is creating a new thing that I can use, so I'm not gonna keep the same energy. I like my Apple too much.
I do like
Apple juice sucks, Fix.
Whoa!
Apple juice sucks.
I know we were bonding over lemon juice, but Jesus. Calm down, Crash. Calm down.
I apologize for the outburst.
That was too much.
Whatever you do, I'll fully respect it.
That was too much.
You do you.
Games with Gold for October, because by the time you'll be listening to this shit, you won't even matter about the old ones. The new ones this month, we have Slay Away Camp Butcher Cut, available October 1st to October 31st. Made of Skyer?
Skyer?
Skyer would have a Y, so yeah, you're right. Like, made of skr?
Yeah.
Like that? You like that?
It's in a rap track, yeah. Like skirt.
That could be my bar. That should be, look, fam, I grew up on the streets and I'm made of skr. Killed it.
Yeah, that's real good.
Available from October 16th to November 15th. You got Sphinx and the Curse Mummy, available October 1st to October 15th. And last but not least, Costume Quest, available October 16th to October 31st. So if you're in the mood for some horror / Halloween-y type games, there you go. I'm looking forward to playing Made of Skirt, to be honest with you, because I've not checked it out. So
I have no clue what that game is.
It looks decent. It looks decent. Looks like my type of game, maybe not your type of game, but it looks decent. I need something for October anyway, for Halloween and dark horror games, and am I going to play one? You know, it's the whole. Do you do the horror month, and do I play a horror game every day, and blah 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 blah. Like,
right. Skeleton face paint again, right?
Moving on, Doom Eternal is coming to Xbox Game Pass. Doom Eternal is coming to Xbox Game Pass on October 1st, Crash, are we going to both play this game so we can see how good it is for Game of the Year talk now?
Yes, I'll definitely play it, without a doubt. Will I finish it?
That's a different story, hey?
Yeah, I'll play it. I'll give it its fair shot. I'll give it at least 5 hours.
Damn. I promise nothing.
You promise nothing.
I promise nothing.
I will give it a... If Fix is promising nothing, I take it back. I'm promising nothing.
I promise an hour.
I promise to give it its a fair share.
Maybe 2 hours, because you got to get through that tutorial period. But Doom just don't do it.
If it doesn't click with me, it doesn't click with me. I played plenty of the last Doom. I've played Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Those games just don't really...
Wolfenstein does it for me. But it gives me a headache because of frame rate. And motion blur.
It might be the blur. Did you check if you could turn off the blur in that?
I didn't even know back when I got the headaches, I didn't even realize motion blur was a problem for me back then. Yeah. Now I know it is, where beforehand
so you always look for it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll give it its fair shake.
I'm glad
it's
this
dope.
is coming.
It's coming out this soon. Yeah.
I'm
So
glad.
that's really cool.
Which I love. I wonder if Dishonored 2 is still leaving.
Was it leaving at one point?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. Oh, that's interesting.
The other piece of news that I forgot to add here, but I've remembered it off the top of the dome, is Forza Motorsport 7 is also being added to Game Pass. You may be saying to yourself, why was this not in Game Pass anyway? Apparently there was this weird licensing thing when it comes to Forza Motorsport, where they couldn't get it in Game Pass or something along those lines. I haven't done my due diligence on this one, so I'm kind of speaking out my butt cheeks a little bit. But shout out to the Motorsport fans that care about this. I might be able to sneak it off of Haley's Xbox, the old one now. So I'll give her the new one so she can finally play that. But yeah, this is big news for Forza fans, so congratulations to them. The last piece of news, I guess, about this as well is that Forza Horizon 3, or is it Motorsport 3? I think it's Horizon. Forza Horizon 3 is being delisted on Xbox as well. They tweeted this out the other day about how the game's going to be delisted, so if you want to own the game, you will need to buy it, and its DLC is getting delisted as well. So clearly the player base is just not there for it, with 4 coming out, but I don't know how I feel about this, Crash. Games disappearing.
Why? But that's the way it is. Marvel vs. Capcom, I think it's 2. You can't buy it anywhere.
Bada bum. That's just the way it is, mate.
Yeah. This is actually probably one of the scariest things as we go into a more digital landscape.
Who cares? What? Who cares?
You're right. Old games. It's all about the new game.
You're right, but who cares? Who was going back to want to play this?
Not really anybody.
And if you really want it, there's plenty of discs out there. Who cares?
True. That's true.
When we get to all digital and it's limited, the only person putting out games is limited run, they're the only one doing physical copies, then maybe I'll start worrying. Maybe by then it'll be too late. Obviously it will be. But right now, who cares?
You're all good. Who cares? True.
Let's plug and get ourselves out of here, Crash. What you got to plug this week, my dude? What are you plugging?
The My Xbox and Me YouTube page fix. I don't know if you knew this, but we're really, really close to 1,000 subs.
Crash, you know I know, because I check the numbers every day.
I just want you to play along with it, Fix.
Oh, okay. Let's go again.
Fix, I don't know if you knew this, but we're really, really close to 1,000 subs.
What? 1,000?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So if anybody who's listening to this on a streaming service, or you happen by chance to run through this podcast on YouTube and you got to the end and you're like, man, what do I do with my time? What you do is you scroll down a little bit, or you go to youtube.com/My Xbox and Me. I don't know if that takes you to My Xbox and Me page.
It doesn't, because we haven't got 1,000
subscribers. Just search up My Xbox and Me.
Because we don't have 1,000 subscribers, we can't have a custom URL. So we need 1,000 subscribers to get the custom URL, so we can have youtube.com/My Xbox and Me. But yeah, search My Xbox and Me, and we'll be there. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Fun fact: we've done 586 subs in the last 28 days.
That's so crazy. That's, you know what, we mentioned this last week, and I think we've mentioned it a few times. Our real goal for the end of the year was 500 at one point.
Yeah.
And we've blown so far past that.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
It's
wild.
Actually
really,
it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I'm proud of me. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of Deshaun, aka Bad Bit. Don't give a bit, not Bad Bit.
Don't give a bit.
I'm thinking of Joseph. Jesus Christ. Don't give a bit. I'm proud. I'm proud of what we're doing. I'm proud of the show that he's doing, this week's dashboard, where he does the news. It's just, it's working. Right now, It's working. Can we keep growing? Can we keep going? I think we can. But we'll soon find out. You can follow me everywhere at MC Fixer. The big thing I'll push this week is my YouTube channel, I guess. YouTube.com/MC Fixer. I'm on the road to 5,000 subscribers over on my personal channel. I'm putting out content on a very regular basis currently. We've got the PGA Tour series. We've got the NBA series. My review for Mafia. You heard more of it here, to be honest with you, in that review. But that is up. And we are less than 100 hours watch time away from being monetized on the YouTube channel. So the My Xbox and Me channel is doing very well for that as well, by the way. But yeah, keep on supporting. You can, like I say, find me everywhere. If you're into Twitch, twitch.tv/MCFixer. I am there every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And yeah, just keep being amazing. Keep being amazing to each other. Keep supporting each other. Keep supporting this podcast. It really does go a long way, and we are very, very thankful for it. Until next week, Crash, I will love you, leave you guys, and see you all later.
Goodbye.